Good evening, everybody. Welcome, friends, to Forest Fete. How's everyone doing tonight? Let's put our hands together for everyone who brought us to this abundant moment tonight. Pacific Forest Trust, for all of those who made this night happen. We thank you for giving up a night to be with us this evening. We're going to celebrate some champions of the forest tonight. We also, a little bit later, are going to invite you to support the wonderful work of Pacific Forest Trust, because we all in this room, we care about the forest, we care about the land, water, wildlife, conservation, and we care about our communities. Later, by way of a treat, a musical treat, if you've looked at the program, you'll already know, but we have John Papa, who's going to be, come on, give it up, everybody, on this stage right here with Stuart Guzman. They'll be here providing a lovely musical dessert for us. But friends, to get things going, please welcome to the stage the president of Pacific Forest Trust, Laurie Wayburn. Come up here, Laurie.
Welcome. Welcome to Forest Fete 2020. Now, I do want you all to eat as your meals are arriving. I don't mind. In fact, I really like it when I hear the clatter of a fork and a knife on a plate, because it means people are happy and eating. But thank you so much for joining us here tonight, and thank you particularly to all of you who have helped sponsor the organization at many stages. The Mon Foundation is our presenting sponsor, and Van Eck as our Ponderosa sponsor, and so many of you in the room here tonight. But before I get to my real remarks, I want us to take a minute to appreciate both being here and the extraordinary work of our staff who've put this event together. I think all of you know that it takes a hell of a lot of work to put on a fun event. And so the redoubtable Kevin Connolly, the indomitable Molly Moscone, thank you. And if you have a chance in the course of the evening, go up and introduce yourself and say that hello to them and thank you. So tonight I want to share with you all why I feel so energized and enthusiastic about the opportunities to make real progress on climate solutions, and really due to the impact and relevance of the work of Pacific Forest Trust in many respects and all of you. I had the honor on Earth Day to be with Governor Newsom and Resources Secretary Crowfoot last week, where he made the announcement about natural and working lands as a key part of California's climate commitment. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment, but you may have noticed that Secretary Crowfoot is not here this evening. And that is because the president usurped us. But if you're going to have to be stood up on a date, it may as well be with the president. So Wade was back in Washington, D.C. for the fabulous announcement of 2 new national monuments for California, and that is quite wonderful. I think we should just take a moment to celebrate. But the secretary is a very responsible person, and so he ensured that we had another superstar here tonight in his stead, and that is Director Jen Norris of the Wildlife Conservation Board. And she and her team are also essential allies in the climate crisis, combating the climate crisis, as well as leading the charge on biodiversity. But even as we celebrate these 2 new national monuments, we want to acknowledge that this is part of a classic approach to conservation, where we establish public lands to provide for public benefits, such as our water, our wildlife, and climate. And we also recognize that it is not enough to work and depend solely on public lands to achieve the kinds of solutions at scale that we need. And a great example of that is forests, where a significant percentage of our forests are privately owned. And it's clear we cannot protect and sustain our critical public values, especially for climate, water, and wildlife, solely on public lands. And that is why PFT developed a different approach and one that focuses on conserving those public benefits on private lands, working with landowners and communities to do that at scale. And our approach, as you all may know, is one of very active conservation on those working lands, working in the enlightened self-interest of both landowners and communities to achieve that protection. And we ensure both public benefits and private return in that way. So our philosophy is to harness the power of yes, to manage for the whole forest, across boundaries, for and with landowners and communities, for what we need now and in the future. Our goal is to make it easier for landowners to do good things for forests, because forests are our essential infrastructure, the infrastructure on which we all depend for water, for clean air, and for climate solutions. I think we all recognize public-private partnerships in supporting essential infrastructure, the fundamental need now to transform a lot of our traditional infrastructure to meet the climate crisis. Just think for a minute about what we are investing to transform our energy and transportation infrastructure as climate solutions. Billions. That's the scale that we need. And this brings me to what is so exciting about the governor's announcement on Earth Day. This new part of California's climate commitment signals a recognition of the essential role of forests and other lands as critical climate infrastructure. And by so doing, it recognizes the need to invest in transforming our management of this natural infrastructure to solve the climate crisis. I actually have the honor of chairing the expert advisory committee that was charged by the legislature through AB 1757 to develop and recommend these targets for consideration by the governor for nature-based climate solutions, as well as identifying pathways to achieve them. So here are a few transformative elements in the governor's plan that are built out of the committee's recommendations. And I want to recognize Adam Moreno over there, with whom I had the pleasure to work on these. The plan focuses on beneficial climate actions, inclusive but not limited to carbon removal by natural systems. Ones that, for example, reduce fire risk and return good fire, support biodiversity, promote water security, grow a long-term rural labor force, all while increasing our net carbon stores. The plan integrates short and long-term actions. Act now and make it last. The actions are all incentive-based, off-the-shelf, proven, practical, scalable now. And they're based on freeware from nature. Kind of cool. How we manage forests and how we manage fire are core to achieving these targets. So first, a word about fire, our theme of the evening. This plan really recognizes that beneficial fire is a force for good. This is the fire we say yes to, not, oh my God, no to. It sets a target of 75% of fires being beneficial by 2030, 90% by 2045. That is ambitious, but it is fully achievable. And the committee felt every confidence in putting this forward to the state, given our partners in the state, for example, with CAL FIRE, and with the private sector, as with the Moore Foundation. This is a huge recognition of fire as a positive force in reinvigorating forests and other lands, controlling diseases, and actually supporting fire-resilient systems. Good fire is the gift that keeps on giving. And PFT has championed this for years. We are leading the pivot of public opinion about fire, building coalitions of such a wide diversity of partners. And I actually want to thank and highlight the amazing work done by our very own Paul Mason in this regard, and the many key partners that we work with on this. Now, perhaps saving the best for last, in this plan, there is an amazing recognition of the power of conserving and managing and restoring older, more natural forests, especially those on private lands, to help it meet our climate imperatives. Last November, the magazine Nature published a study by over 200 scientists with the scintillating title of Integrated Global Assessment of the Natural Forest Carbon Potential. But fundamentally, what it showed was how absolutely essential it is to manage for older forests to solve the climate crisis. As we all know, scientists love to argue, but here they agreed. Older forests store and hold vastly more carbon, and they can do it in the time frame that we need, which is within a decade. So how core is this insight? It is 226 gigatons of core. Now, a gigaton is a billion tons. So let me illustrate what this means. We all recognize the need to keep moving away from the combustion engine. So switching from a conventional car to an electric vehicle, I have an electric vehicle, saves about 6 tons of CO2 emissions in that vehicle's lifetime. In that same time frame, a single acre of Douglas fir forest, with very modest reductions and changes in harvest, will yield some additional 24 tons, 4 times as much. And this is why the state has adopted these new targets, because incorporating more forest management and conservation gets us to our goals much, much faster. This is not in contraindication, it's not in isolation, it is in complementarity. We need to do them both. But if you can do something that accelerates the pace by 400%, let's do it. So this plan sets a target of conserving 225,000 acres of conifer forest a year. That is over 5 million acres of forest, and particularly the bulk of it is managed private forest by 2045. And that will bring enormous benefits, not just for climate, but for biodiversity, for water, and for sustaining our rural communities. PFT has shown how this can be done with willing landowner partners and in partnership with the state, that essential public-private partnerships. Our working forest conservation easements are permanent legal tools that pay landowners for the opportunity costs of shifting their business models to be grounded in conservation and managing for climate, wildlife, and water, as well as timber. That embodies the public-private partnership model. The Shasta Timberlands project that we are very, very proud of and that you're going to be hearing more about tonight, both from our honoree and from our speaker. This is an illustration of how we do this. And frankly, our pioneering work to return good fire to the ground in the forest. I had the pleasure of being with George Morris just 2 days ago on an historically large burn on private commercial forest land along the sides of Mount Shasta. It is thanks to state support, backup with CAL FIRE, supported by the Wildlife Conservation Board, that we can illustrate how this can be done safely on the landscape in a way that helps the landscape, but fundamentally helps keep safe communities as well. And we are at the forefront of developing new policies that will make good fire easier at scale. Most of us are used to this history of people fighting over forests, people fighting over fire. We are working on a bill, AB 1101, carried by Assemblymember Limon, which has a remarkable consensus of Republicans and Democrats that show forests and fire can bring people together, and they do bring us together. So achieving the climate goals that are embodied in this new California conservation commitment is eminently doable. And it is the change that we need, and it's the change that we need now. I have shared with a few of you the story of my son's response about climate change and how he feels about his future under climate change. He's not the only young adult that I know who has said this, more or less in the same words. Your generation, that's me, and every other parent or grandparent in this room, or soon-to-be parent, he says, we're screwed, thanks to what you guys did. So, this new set of planned actions in the California climate commitment is absolutely key to turning his pessimism into realistic, optimistic solutions in my and his lifetime. California is pioneering a truly new approach to addressing the climate crisis at scale. And if history is any guide, others will adopt it based on the success that we roll out here. And we are only able to do this with your support and partnership. And I just want to thank you for being very essential, solutions-oriented partners for us in this work. I hope that you will enjoy this evening. There's some pretty fabulous people, some great music, and thank you all for being here.
One more time, is Laurie fired up tonight or what? Good fire. Give it up for Laurie, everybody. I'm sorry I had to. All right, friends. We do have a fun evening ahead. We're also going to celebrate some champions of the forest. And here to help us with this portion of the night, please put your hands together for PFT's co-founder and strategic advisor. Everybody give it up, please, for Connie Best.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. Spectacular evening that we have. It's my great honor to recognize the outstanding conservation commitment of Campbell Global this evening with our Forest Champion Award. Based in Portland, Oregon, Campbell Global has been a leading timberland investment manager and now a J.P. Morgan company. And for 40 years, they've managed 5 million acres across the US, Australia, New Zealand, and Chile. Today, we are celebrating the partnership between Campbell, the Pacific Forest Trust, and the Wildlife Conservation Board that permanently conserved 7,500 acres of spectacular working forest on the slopes of Mount Shasta, straddling the divide between the Klamath and Sacramento basins. This property is remarkable for its biodiversity and watershed values and plays a key role in climate adaptation, providing connections within the Shasta Trinity National Forest for plants and wildlife on the move due to climate change. The impact of Campbell's commitment is amplified across the whole Mount Shasta landscape, benefiting all Californians. The Shasta Timberlands Conservation Easement ensures that this working forest will be actively stewarded by Campbell to sustain a resilient, diverse, and healthy forest while producing the wood products that also benefit society. So I'm delighted to welcome John Gilliland, Campbell Global's chairman and chief executive officer, who, as one of the company's longtime leaders, has been instrumental in Campbell's success. So John, please come join me and accept this award.
Thank you. You want me to say something? Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Connie. Thank you, Lori. I'm just going to say a few words. I'll probably go over my 3 minutes, but not by much, I promise. On behalf of Campbell Global and all of our employees, Paul, who is here, thank you, Paul, who manages this property. And on behalf of TC&I Timber, Shasta Timberland, really it's an honor. And that's our client. Working with the team at PFT is always a pleasure. I mean, every year we get to do something, at least in conversations, but when we get to do a transaction, it's absolutely fabulous. And then appreciation and gratitude to the California Wildlife Conservation Board. Thank you very much. Big part of this project. I want to just say something on 3 different topics, and the first one is, why has this project made sense to us? There's many reasons, there's dozens, and I'd love to cover those with you. as we mingle tonight, but there's two, and I'm just going to go through two. One is location, always is with any kind of property or real estate, right? Well, the 7,500 acres is very strategic within the larger landscape of both the public and private holdings and this mosaic of change that's happening in this region for resiliency. It's on the eastern flanks of the Mount Shasta. If you've ever been there, if you can't, just imagine. And it's, as Connie said, it's at the crest of two major river basins. It's stunning. It's an incredible forest. The second, though, is its scope and its purpose and its goals. The breadth of this, it's not just a simple conservation easement. The depth and the breadth of this project is, I think, is unprecedented, and it's a model for the future. It's one that Connie and Lori have been doing, but working forests to support rural jobs, very important, forest health and resiliency, protection of water, protection and enhancement of habitat. I just say that there's over 250 species that are either crawling, walking, swimming, or flying on this property. And there's 2,600 acres that are dedicated to enhancing habitat values on this particular property. Let me talk about stewardship. I think everyone in our business, Pacific Forest Trust, Campbell, our business, you have to have a stewardship ethic. And it's easy to say, but it has to be a core value. And it is a core value with Pacific Forest Trust, and I like to think it is with Campbell Global. When we founded in 1981, one of the things that we said that we would do is when we invest and when we manage, we think it's going to be a more sustainable way to do that for forests and for our investors. And I think this approach is it's reflected in our activities. But here's the more important point with that, is that we discovered very, very early that there's actually very effective, more ways to conserve and enhance areas of forest and enhance their value in these rare areas, and that's by partnering with experts. Partnering with experts like Pacific Forest Trust, who care about older trees, care about water security, care about climate and carbon removal and biodiversity and wildlife on a permanent basis. So partnering with groups like Pacific Forest Trust, and specifically Pacific Forest Trust, is magical, and it needs to continue, and I hope it does on our properties and others. So I think this is a case study. I think this is a blueprint for success for all parties, being human in nature. But some final words of gratitude, and I'll step aside. But gratitude and pride about this partnership and the project. The first is, this is really an important accomplishment for the Mount Shasta headwaters area. I think that just goes without saying, and you'll see it, and I'm very proud of that. Second is working with good people, good partners is always a source of pride. The third is working to contribute towards California's 30 by 30 goals. That was pretty cool. I'd say in a way that not only contributed and worked with conservation, but actually with working with rural communities and jobs. This is a working forest, and that's very special. And then last, I do speak about this project a lot. I travel a fair bit. It's not known just in this region or just on this side of the United States. It's kind of known around other parts of the globe. And the reason I say that is that every time I talk about it, every time I bring it up, there's a positive astonishment about the partnership and the project in itself. So I'm just going to close by saying this is a great example of working with great people, experts who are at the forefront of newer conversations to make change and creating resiliency across the board. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, John. And now, friends, I'm very pleased to announce that retired California State Senator Bob Bukowski is joining us to accept PFT's Outside the Box Award on behalf of Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas. Senator Bukowski has himself been a champion for climate solutions, especially natural climate solutions. So, friends, please welcome Bob Bukowski. Bob.
It actually says Outside the Box Award. Isn't that great? I will. Does it have wine in it, or forest products that are here? On behalf of Speaker Rivas, he apologizes he wasn't able to get here. I was also invited to the White House to see the president and talk about the monuments, but I said no. I wanted to be here to accept this award for Rivas. All right, so a couple of high points that I want to make. The the bill AB 1754, which set up this advisory committee that they have, was fantastic. You know, a lot of times advisory committees come up with these nice reports, they're released, then they get on a shelf and nobody pays attention to them. And Lori and anybody else who's here that was part of that, I got a chance to read the forestry part and the summary. It was brilliant, excellent work. But the second thing, which is also really important, you know, the worst thing you guys can do is invite a politician to speak, and then a has-been politician. It's even worse than that. But the second point was what happened last week when the governor had the Earth Day deal, and I'm politicians do the Earth Day deal, but he talked about these 81 points. And it's like I'm reading this report going down, and bada boom, bada beam, bada beam. It's all in there. It's all the goals that we have, and they've been articulated. You know, when I was in the Senate on the budget stuff, I was, you know, fighting for working lands, and you know, nobody knew what the hell we were talking about, but that's all right. But that's now part of the state public policy. And for your young people here, this Limon bill is fire. I mean, if this thing is quietly working its way through the budget, it's you know, there's got $73 million that has to be cut, but Chief Joe Tyler, who's sitting over here with CAL FIRE, he will have extraordinary powers to go in before a fire and look at the landscape. Look at that landscape. That's a real nice landscape. But look at the landscape and say, what we need to do is we need to thin. We need to do the mechanical thinning. We're going to do this. Bring the lumberjacks in. You know, you guys hug a younger lumberjack. They're going to be our friends. Part of the report is that we need to work with them and make sure that they have a living and they help us bring back the health of the forest. So he's outside the box. You guys are outside the box. This is a good time for forest health. It's only one thing is missing. It's, you know, you all saw that Jerry Maguire movie. You got to go to the legislature, talk to your senators, talk to your legislatures, and show me the money. Show me the money. The commitment that the report has said is $2 billion a year. And anybody wants to talk to me about cap and trade, there's a way that you can take the money that we're doing from cap and trade and really invest it into carbon reduction programs like what's been set out in the report. It's going to take some muscle. It's going to take some understanding, but there's a pathway there. So good luck going forward, and thank you on behalf of Speaker Rivas for the award.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Speaker Rivas. And now, friends, by the way, can we all just take a moment and just have a little peep out the window? How blessed are we to be here on this night, at this hour, and this moment. So couldn't be more perfect, friends. Which brings us now to our featured speaker. Dr. Jennifer Norris is Executive Director of California's Wildlife Conservation Board. In its 76-year history, WCB has had 6 executive directors, and Dr. Norris is the first female in the role. Give it up for that, everybody. Come on, here we go. We are delighted to have her with us tonight. Previously, by the way, she was Deputy Secretary for Biodiversity and Habitat at the California Natural Resources Agency. Friends, please give a warm welcome, put your hands together for our featured speaker, Dr. Jennifer Norris.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Oh, that's me. Okay. Do you have my slides ready? Is it on me? Hold on. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know I'm not Wade Crowfoot, so I'm hoping I can step into maybe one of his shoes. I really appreciate being here in this space with all these incredibly accomplished people and all the landowners and the funders and everybody who does such amazing work for forests in California. So I want to talk to you today about why conservation and conservation of forests matters. And my clicker's not working. Darn it. It was going to be good. There we go. So I want you to contemplate this photograph. I think you know what this is. This is our Earth, our planet. And as far as we know, it's the only one in at least our solar system, possibly anywhere that supports life. And if you go back to your 6th grade earth science class, you might remember this diagram, that most of that ball that's floating out there in space is rock. And the part that sustains life is actually a very thin membrane that wraps around. It's just a couple of miles where life occurs. And that biosphere is created and sustained by a suite of cycles. I promise this won't be all science. The water cycle, nitrogen, carbon, oxygen. And those cycles, those life support systems, are built on plants and animals and protists and fungi, right? Life on Earth is actually a self-reinforcing system. Photosynthetic organisms create oxygen, which support Krebs cycle-dependent organisms like us. When was the last time you heard that phrase? And I don't know about you, but I can't make food from the sun. And we can't manufacture oxygen at the scale we need to keep us alive. We need plants. And plants need decomposers to break down other organisms to free up nutrients. Trees need bees and wasps for pollination, and birds and rodents and mammals to carry their seeds. The conditions that make life possible on this planet rely on the biodiversity of the planet. They are inextricably linked. And for this reason, ecologists know that the biodiversity crisis is as existential as the climate crisis. It is indisputable that we as a species cannot live without the other species of our planet. And yet, we are destroying biodiversity at a rate that is 1,000 times the background. And each species lost is like another block out of a Jenga tower. And we don't know which one is going to take the whole thing down. How many of you have been to this place? Uh-oh. I've been there. Am I the only one? Someone in the back? It's kind of a crazy wackadoodle place. It's the Biosphere 2. It's out in the Arizona desert. It covers 3 acres. And it was I think it was a bunch of billionaires built this thing as a whim to see how we could recreate life when we finally move to Mars. So this is a test for Mars. So that's 3 acres. They put inside it an ocean, a savanna, a rainforest, and then they locked 8 people inside with the idea they'd be there for 2 years. And they weren't going to get to come, nothing comes in, nothing comes out. They live inside the biosphere. And it was an epic failure. After about a year, they brought them all out. They were starving. The system could not make enough oxygen, enough water to keep these 8 people, or food to keep these people alive. So is that a failure? Well, as an ecologist, to me, it's a very validating fact, which is that we should work harder to keep what we have than try to recreate this mysterious, complex world we call home on some other planet that doesn't have what we have. So these are the ideas that are at the root of California's commitment to conserve 30% of our lands and coastal waters by 2030, which I had the great honor of leading for a few years when I was deputy secretary. The idea is that if we protect and restore nature, we protect ourselves. And this is why 190 countries across the world are committed to protecting 1/3 of the Earth in its undeveloped state. And we also know that protecting natural and working lands, as we've heard so much tonight, is a critical tool in the fight against climate change. The truth is, biodiversity loss and climate change are 2 sides of the same coin. You cannot solve one without the other. And for this reason, last week, as Lori mentioned, the Newsom administration unveiled nature-based climate targets to support California's goals of achieving carbon neutrality by 2045. And this strategy sets conservation and restoration targets for natural and working lands across the state: forests, grasslands, shrublands, croplands. Lori might have had better statistics, but this is what I found. Natural and working lands sequester approximately 714 million metric tons of carbon a year. This is equivalent to about 12% of the US's annual greenhouse gas emissions. And I love this image because it reminds us that what happens below ground is just as important as what we can see above. Thriving natural and working lands protect us from the effects of climate change. Coastal wetlands protect us from sea level rise. Trees protect our communities from extreme heat. And as you well know, and we've talked about already, forests protect our water supply, reduce the risk of flooding and soil erosion. And lucky me, this is what WCB does. The Wildlife Conservation Board, in its 76 years, working with partners, has protected through fee or easement nearly 2 million acres across California. Yeah, that's a good. And one of the things we do is protect forests. So we partnered with Pacific Forest Trust to conserve the Shasta timberlands, which Lori just talked about a minute ago, the 7,500 acre conservation easement. That was my first board meeting in November. It's kind of cool. I've only been in this job 6 months. Yeah. And we protected Butte Creek Ranch, 3,500 acres of easement of a biodiverse conifer forest and a complex of wet meadows. And I met the Hart family earlier. Super cool. Good work, you guys. And I'll just say as an aside, I'm a huge fan of conservation easements. I love keeping lands working, keeping them in private hands. It's the most cost-efficient way to protect nature, in my opinion, and I think it keeps communities whole. So it's really a win-win. But we know and we've heard that protecting land alone is not enough. We need to restore and manage these lands for long-term sustainability. Some of my terrible fire statistics that I found, Joe talked about this a bit. Since 2020, over 7 million acres of California's lands have burned, destroying communities and ecosystems. Wildfire has been one of the largest sources of carbon emissions over the last 8 years. Now, of course, wildfire is natural to California's landscapes, but decades of fire suppression and the outright outlawing of cultural burns has left lands vulnerable to these incredibly large, high-severity events. So restoring a natural wildfire regime using good fire is one of the most important actions we can take to improve the health of these ecosystems. This is also something that WCB funds, along with CAL FIRE and other partners. We're increasing the use of beneficial fire. We looked out at this landscape. We just funded at our last board meeting work on Mount Tam to do some forest thinning, which I'm really excited about. And we funded this burn at McLeod Soda Springs. That just happened last week. Super cool. I love this. It's the best job ever. I just want you all to know that. So low-level fires, they are known. There's true science on this. They increase biodiversity, they reduce pests, they increase watershed function, and they limit carbon emissions from our landscapes. We need more good fire in our landscape, and that's why the Nature-Based Solutions Climate Targets calls for 33.5 million acres to be managed to reduce wildfire risk, mostly through beneficial fire. And at the same time, restoring our rivers and meadows, stabilizing soils, all of these conservation actions will ensure our forests can provide us with multiple benefits long into the future. I am really excited about the partnership we have with Pacific Forest Trust and so many others. But working with our natural systems through science-based conscious management is essential for our thriving future. Thinking about the sun and what you tell him, we are experiencing many challenges here on this planet right now. It's definitely hard. But I really think we should have hope. I'm going to read you my favorite hope quote. Everybody has to have one, I think. Mine's by Rebecca Solnit. She says, "Hope is not a lottery ticket that you sit on the sofa and clutch, feeling lucky. It's the axe you break down doors with in an emergency." Hope requires action. And the actions we're taking together, they give me hope. So thank you, Pacific Forest Trust, for your commitment to protecting biodiversity and combating the climate crisis. Thank to all of you in this room who support PFT and the conservation of California's nature. It matters. All of this individual action is going to make for a better world for us and for our future. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jennifer Norris. One more time, everybody. Round of applause. We thank you so much for being here, for showing up tonight. And now, friends, almost the most exciting part of the night, when we get to invite you to be champions for the forest and champions of the work being done by Pacific Forest Trust. Laurie's going to come up and say a couple of words and remind you about where your giving is going tonight and about why this work at this time really matters. Laurie.
You're going to be tired of me in a moment, but just give me one more moment. So at last year's Forest Fete, a number of you saw the premiere trailer for a documentary film on our work called Beyond the Trees. It's gone on to win 8 laurels at documentary film festivals, and it's now being shown on the Weather Channel as part of their climate series, and it will be shown for 2 years. So Beyond the Trees really shows the power of managing our working forests as climate champions. But tonight I'm pleased to share with you PFT's work is being featured in another documentary film. This one is specifically about our iconic redwood forests. It's a film called Giants Rising. And it highlights some of our innovative work in managing for the whole forest. Some of you probably know Jared Gerstein. He's somewhere here. He's our on-the-ground forester and does amazing work. But in this, we're showing and being featured for some of the work we're doing to both bring fire back, which restores the soil and the lower layers, but to bring the canopy forest back. So this features our work both with fire and with Steve Sillett and Marie Antoine in reestablishing the upper canopy in the redwood forest, which is so, so critical. And in looking at this, think about it and keep it in mind, because one of you this evening will have the chance to participate in the first application of pyro-silviculture. We're all pyro-fire silviculturalists, cultivators of forests and trees on commercial redwood forest lands. So it's something you will hear more about, but with that teaser, I'm pleased to premiere this clip from Giants Rising, which will be shown on Saturday at Docklands in Mill Valley. So enjoy.
In recent years, new laws have paved the way for more prescribed burns in parks and in the 1.2 million acres of the redwood range that are still privately owned.
Friends, we burned this film onto a hard disk, and the hard drive is giving us a couple of issues, so we'll get there in just a minute. Here we go. Friends, while we're waiting for the video, One more time, put your hands together for everyone who put this great event on tonight. Please, everyone, hands together. Come on, here we go. We thank you so very, very, very much. So after the video, friends, we're going to invite you to be champions for the work of Pacific Forest Trust. And as Laurie alluded to, we have a few gifts of gratitude for those who give.
In recent
the first
years,
one's a burn.
new laws
Here we
have
go.
paved the way for more prescribed burns in parks and in the 1.2 million acres of the redwood range that are still privately owned. This includes places where redwoods are harvested to meet consumer demand, like here, where fire is just one tool being used to give the forest a helping hand.
The harness dance. Hey, Steve, hold on.
In this active timberland, Steve and Marie have identified a few redwoods to be left to grow into old giants with big benefits.
There are a relatively few number of giant trees that do the bulk of the work in terms of supporting canopy level biodiversity, in terms of long-term carbon sequestration.
So if you leave these giants in the forest, they could actually have a positive effect on the regeneration of the youngsters.
Becoming a giant can take centuries.
You hold this piece for a second.
Beautiful little creatures.
But they hope to speed things up by transplanting fern mats that fell from old trees in a storm into these young trees.
The ferns are ecosystem engineers, and our goal is to jumpstart that process by bringing ferns into its crown.
We can put some of the extra duff that's in there.
There's probably already animals embedded in this soil.
All right, here we go. Be a year, and then we'll see how these little guys are doing.
Every year we harvest, we should be identifying new trees and putting ferns in those trees.
For Lori, who manages this forest, the fern experiment is part of a broader ambition to change the way that timberlands are managed, offering pathways to profits that are both monetary and ecological.
What we're managing for here is to restore this forest to full function. Not just for this product that is fiber or timber. When you have thriving redwood forests, they keep the air cooler, they capture fog, they create rain. If we manage them to be the redwood forests that they are, they will survive. If we manage them to be timber only, they may not survive because they will not have the resilience, they will not have the cooler temperatures, they will not have the water that they need and we need.
Before logging started in the 1800s, this was home to some of the largest trees ever recorded. And now, with this management strategy, maybe we'll get some giants again in the not too distant future.
Guided by strategies new and old, the return of the giants is a dream on the way to becoming a reality. Especially in light of a grand plan that calls to mind how the redwoods themselves draw strength from their connections. A plan that includes tapping into the tree's deepest secrets.
All right, that was powerful. So, friends, thank you for being with us tonight. Before we get into the Fund the Future, as we are funding the future, I know we're all here because we care about the environment, we care about the work of Pacific Forest Trust. Before we get into this, paddle raise, what I like to call the section of the evening. We're alive. We're here. That's good. It's good energy. So, friends, I want to do a little eye test for my one good eye. Everyone should have a paddle the back of your program. Can I ask everyone just to raise the paddle? I'm not asking you for anything just yet. That'll happen in about 6. It's really for 2 reasons. One, to test my one good eye, but also it makes for a great picture for our photographer. So next year, when you're in the brochure, your face will be there with a paddle saying, look, every single person in the room gave money tonight because you're so passionate and you care. Keep them up as I test my one good eye. 117, I see you. 111, I see you. Keep them up, everybody. 417-228-327. Back of the room, 331. 128-107-230. 312. 418, Laurie's table right there. Okay, the one eye is good. Friends, so if you feel so moved tonight, and I'm hoping for 100% participation. In the fundraising world, I know Michelle Obama used to say, when they go low, we go high. In fundraising, we start high and we go low. All we're asking you to do tonight is to give whatever feels good right here, and to know that what you give tonight is going to have an impact. What you do tonight is going to support Pacific Forest Trust in the work they're doing for land conservation, land management. So give from here and give what feels good. And friends, because of your generosity, in advance, we already predicted there'd be generosity in the room. We have a few gifts of gratitude to give tonight. The first 3 levels of giving, who gives at those levels, we're going to give you a chance, the first 3 people, to go and experience a burn. So, Parasilver experience, yes, managed safely. And if this is a dream of yours, I know you woke up this morning and thought, wouldn't it be great if I could go to an event and as a gift of gratitude, they send you to a fire. So this is what we do here. So it's the theme of our night. It's good fire, friends. So as you think about giving, if you've never, ever, I know I have certainly not been part of a controlled burn, this will be a really unique experience. And if you don't want it, gift it to your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, or someone you really love, or a neighbor who also cares about the land, because it is a gift of gratitude that matters. So, friends, here we go. I also have more good news. We also have a longtime supporter and donor who has very kindly offered to, whatever we give in this room tonight, is going to match 10% of what is given tonight. So, put our hands together. That longtime supporter could not be here, but just know that we are supporting the work of Pacific Forest Trust with a match from a donor. So, friends, we're going to go big. I'm going to ask you to be audacious tonight. Our first level of giving, I always love when I have more good news. We have another longtime supporter who has very kindly agreed to kick off our Fund the Future tonight with a gift, friends, of $20,000. Susan Pritzer. Give it up for Susan Pritzer, everybody. Come on. She couldn't be here. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. So, I'm just going to put it out there. Is there anyone who would like to consider joining Susan with that gift of 20? Is there anyone else who would like to raise the paddle at $20,000 tonight? I know it's a big number. Grab your wine. Have a sip. Think about it, but think about where your generosity and where your gifts are going tonight. And by the way, if you want to give $1 or $1 million quietly as you leave instead, you can do that as well, if you don't want to give that number publicly. All right, anyone at 20,000? All right, we have one to kick off. Susan. Thank you, Susan. Friends, our next level of giving, 15,000. Remember, we've got that match of, we hope, $15,000, 10% of what we hope to raise tonight. Is there anyone who'd like to raise the paddle at 15,000? Anyone in the room at 15,000 tonight? The food was good, wasn't it? Make some noise for the servers and for the chefs who made our incredible food tonight. Yes. It's okay, it's good. All right, friends, our next level of giving, $10,000. And we do have a gift in from Lancy Thornton. Lancy could not be with us tonight, could she? Lainey could not be here. Lainey could not be here. Can we just put our hands together for Lainey for kicking us off at $10,000? Sorry. My own handwriting. Lainey with a gift of $10,000. Anyone else like to raise the paddle? Be audacious in your giving with a gift of $10,000 tonight. I know you've already given up an evening to be with us tonight. Anyone like to raise the paddle and join Laney at 10,000? I know these are big numbers, but think about where your generosity is going and the magnitude of your gift and the work that's been done by Pacific Forest Trust. Anyone at 10? Okay. We'll keep on going. I think our first 3 donors, will still invite you to the burn. At 5,000, would anyone like to raise the paddle at $5,000 tonight? Yes, here we go. 229, thank you. 305, thank you. 232, thank you. 229, thank you. Keep your applause going, everybody. Here we go. 204, thank you. Anyone else at 5,000? Keep your applause going, everybody. Come on, here we go. We thank you so very, very much. 4 gifts there at $4,000. So, friends, we'll keep the giving going. Our next level of giving, $2,500. Who would like to raise the paddle at $2,500? Unfortunately, you don't get to go to the burn, but maybe that might be an incentive as well. Anyone like to raise the paddle at $2,500 and make a difference here for Pacific Forest Trust? Fund our future. Fund the future. Here we go. 230. Thank you. At $2,500. Keep the applause going, everybody. Anyone else at $2,500? We thank you so very much. Keep your applause going. Our next level of giving, friends, at $1,000. Who would like to raise their paddle at the $1,000 level tonight and make a difference? Here we go. We're doing it tonight. We're funding the future. Here we go. Thank you. 201, thank you. 329, thank you. 337, thank you. 314, thank you. 111, thank you. 218, thank you. Hands together, everybody. Keep the applause going. We thank you. We thank you so very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Friends, our next level of giving tonight, $500. Who would like to raise the paddle at the $500 level tonight? Fund the future. Here we go at $500. Keep the applause going. 219, thank you. 362, thank you. 348, thank you. 138, thank you. 132, thank you. It's competitive over here. 231, thank you. 212, thank you. 122, thank you. 215, thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Laurie. 418, thank you. 301, thank you. Anyone else at 500? Keep your applause going, everybody. Here we go. We're on the penultimate level of giving tonight. Our next level of giving, friends, $250. Who would like to raise the paddle at $250 tonight? Here we go. Let's do it tonight. Let's fund the future. Fund the future for Pacific Forest Trust, everybody, at $250. 224, thank you. 213, thank you. 360, thank you. Clap along, everybody. Here we go. 408, thank you. 412, thank you. 417, thank you. 121, thank you. 210, thank you. 234, thank you. 334, thank you. Anyone else at 250? Anyone else at 250? Friends, we're on the home stretch. We really are. Who would like to raise the paddle now? Our last level of giving, $100. But friends, we have something special for you. Yes, we do. I know. We have an opportunity. Everyone's going to have a chance. $100 if you've not given yet and you'd like to. If you want to give again, we have 2 gifts of gratitude. Gift number 1, we are going to have you enjoy a night here in the city at the glorious Palace Hotel. And they've thrown in afternoon tea for 2. But here's the deal. That's just one of the gifts of gratitude. Oh, it also comes with a lovely, merci beaucoup, monsieur. This is French sparkling wine, but yes, it is. It's rosé sparkling from France. We're going to throw that in with your overnight stay. Enjoy that. You'll enjoy your afternoon tea. Or you can enjoy a little getaway, McLeod River. We have a dear friend of ours, a fly fishing expert, and friends, he is going to be your guide. Give it up for Todd Pond. That's his name. Yes, Todd Pond. Todd Pond, you're going to enjoy a day of fly fishing with him, plus an overnight stay at a glorious little inn. So friends, here's how it works. That's not the inn. There it is. There's the inn. My gosh, not too far from Mount Shasta. Friends, if you're not into fly fishing, so here's how it works. Molly has 2 baskets. $100. We're going to pick 2 instant winners right here in literally a minute. So, 2 baskets. You can choose if you want the staycation or if you want to have the fly fishing experience. Okay, it's $100. Just raise your paddle. Our volunteers are going to do an instant paddle drop. There'll only be 2 winners. So here we go. 414, thank you. Keep your paddle up. 206, thank you. 338, thank you. 106, thank you. 222, thank you. 221, thank you. 225, thank you. 401, thank you. 367, thank you. 327, thank you. 104, thank you. 103, thank you. 123, thank you. 336, thank you. 413, thank you. 228, 227, 410, 326, 314, keep your paddle up, keep your paddle up. Our volunteers will pop it in the basket. Here we go. 321, did I get you? 214, thank you. Everybody, here we go. Keep your paddle up, an instant draw. When's the last time you went to an event where the prize was a day of fly fishing? Come on, give it up for Pacific Forest Trust. Only here, everybody. 203, thank you. 123, thank you. We're doing it tonight. Everybody, give yourselves a big round of applause. If you've not yet dropped your number in the basket, 207, another one right here. Your last chance. And we're going to do the instant draw. So, you get to stay here and enjoy a staycation at the Palace, plus afternoon tea and a bottle of champagne, or you get to enjoy the McLeod River fly fishing experience with our friend Todd Pond. So, here we go. Who's going to come up? Is it Anne? Yeah. Anne? Okay. Wait till we get to Anne. Yeah. Anyone else? Last chance, friends. We'll do the city staycation first at the historic Palace Hotel. Comes with afternoon tea and the sparkling wine Rosé Magnum. So, here we go. And if you want your program, you can come back afterwards. We'll give you your program back. But let's invite Anne back up. Anne, thank you. On our board, Anne, who's been doing amazing work with the board here, Pacific Forest Trust. Anne, thank you very much. Here we go. Drum roll, please.
I'll take some bribes.
5, 4, 3, 2, left a bit. Ooh, right a bit. Little lower. And the winner of the staycation is
336, Robin Everett.
Robin, congratulations! 336, Robin's our winner. And stay with me. Here we go. So, when's the last time you went fly fishing?
40 years ago?
When's the last time you went on a controlled burn?
Never.
Only here at this event you get these opportunities. You can do both, absolutely. It's not too late, by the way. If you still would like to give $20,000 on your way out, you could be part of that burn. Here we go. This is for the fly fishing McLeod River, the overnight stay in the charming historic guest house. 5, drum roll please. 4, 3, 2, 1. And our winner is
327, Alex Lamer. 327, Alex Lamer.
Alex Lamer. 327. Come on down. Well done, Alex. You're on your way to McLeod River. Well done. You don't have to go tonight. It's okay. It's a later date. Give it up. To all of you, you've been incredible. Can I have one big hip hip hooray? Hip hip. One more so the neighbors can hear us. Hip hip. And with that, friends, it is the moment you've all been waiting for. Get ready to get on the dance floor. Get ready to groove and shake your pants. Friends, give it up for John Popper and Stuart Grossman right here. Forest Fete 2024. Here we go. I think they're behind the curtain. I should have checked, shouldn't I?
We're here. How are you guys doing tonight? Liam, thank you so much. Let's get a hand for Liam. Come on. He managed to auction off a staycation with no stake involved whatsoever. With me is Scott Guberman. Guberman. This is our first time playing together, and he is a local favorite, and he's really awesome, trust me. Well, you're about to find out. So we're going to do a couple of songs. Well, we'll do several songs, and we're just going to do it with me and the piano, and we hope you like it. This first one is called 100 Years, and if you think about it, with these forests, it will mean something in 100 years, but so this applies to everything but the trees. The sun is warm as the day is long. I just got the feeling I can do no wrong. Got a long way to walk, can't afford my next meal. I tell a few lies, but my hunger is real. And it won't mean a thing in 100 years. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Mademoiselle, tell me, do you play? Well, if she shakes her head, well, then that's okay. I watch you walk away in haste. There's just no accounting for some people's taste. And it won't mean a thing in 100 years. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Big angry man in the doorway there. Just keep on walking like I don't care. Why are you giving such an evil eye? Could it be you're ignored by every passerby? And it won't mean a thing in 100 years. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Play in the park for tobacco and food. Then I excuse myself, but they think I'm rude. Tourists don't want me to end this show, but this carnival attraction got places to go, and it won't mean nothing. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Sit at the pier, watch the sun go down. Another lost little boy in a big old town. I want to laugh, I want to cry, but no matter how hard I may try, it just won't mean a thing in 100 years. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. No, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. Thank you. That's basically a song about back when we were just kind of messing around New York and didn't have anything to do. I actually wrote it when I read a Peanuts comic where Snoopy and Linus and Woodstock were dancing around, and Lucy was all mad, because the taxes or whatever. And she said, "Why are you dancing around when all of this strife in the world and trouble?" And they said, "In 100 years, who's going to care?" But thank God you guys care about something that is going to last more than 100 years. But enough of that song. I should really introduce them first rather than back introduce them, because we've already heard that song. This next song I wrote when I was on mushrooms on a jam cruise. I'll tell you about it. So I could lie to you good folks here and tell you that I thought it was, what's that fancy mushroom that they are? The truffle, right. I could tell you that they said have some mushroom chocolate. But, basically I was just trying to hide in my room, and they don't let you eat in your room, and I need to be like horizontal in my underwear watching TV in order to digest my food properly. So what this translates, they have a galley on a boat, so I had to basically smuggle cheeseburgers in my pockets to get back to my room. And on the way, someone offered me a mushroom chocolate, and I thought what a tasty dessert that would be. No, I knew what I was in for. But I made it back to my room, which at the time seemed like it was at the top of a hill, or like I was climbing a mountain, but we were on a boat, so I don't know how that would have worked. But I wrote this song, and the next day, when everything seemed clear, I was a lot, I was very pleased with what I'd written. And it's really a song for the audience. I needed to write you, the people who listen to me make noise. You deserved a song, and this song is really for you. This is called Ode from the Aspect. A chance again to diatribe. You'll go along if you've imbibed my mannered tones of dire cost. And if something gets translated lost, again I seek to hide the same, as though we've never stopped our game. And all the tidings I could bring have never really changed a thing. Dependent on each other, we kept infinite, the you and me, that never really set us free. Or too lonely is the place we be. But for all I've ever tried to tell you, I just couldn't seem to say how much I care. In speaking as the aspect that befell you, you've come to mean my universe out there. For all the right or wrong I'd done, I had to share it with someone. The true, the lie, the in-between, their implications, what they mean. A trophy tale, a troubled turn. Within my heart they'd only burn till the echoes on the acetate reveal what we can all relate, till freely we can share our pain and know that we are not insane, or at least a frenzy we can know. It's enough for me, I'm not alone. But for all I've ever tried to tell you, I just couldn't seem to say how much I care. And speaking as the aspect that befell you, you've come to me, my universe out there. I stumble to the floor and only then see that I'm climbing. I can fall right up a staircase just as easily as down. 'Cause hope can flip the building on its end, and in the timing needs a hand, or else it lands within the sand without a sound. Chance again to double down, perhaps a way of standing ground for every sin that took a toll, by every rescue of my soul. Each choice I made to turn to you, a thing I had to learn to do. So grateful I could see that through, almost as if you always knew. I choose again to share anew, as if compulsively on cue. More karma for we happy few, whose destinies the devils do. And yet I'm thanking God for you. 'Cause for all I've ever tried to tell you, I just couldn't seem to say how much I care. And speaking as the aspect that befell you, you've come to me in my universe out there. Looking for the dawn until it's we who are both shining. Thank you. What's the next one? So this, thank you very much. This next song is about a time a girl punched me square in the nose. I'll tell you. We were young, we were, engaged in something rather intimate, and as women tend to do in those kind of moments, she said something very kind and tender to me. And as young men tend to do, I thought that the gift of honesty was the best gift I could give. And as I was explaining who the hell I thought I was, she just sucked me right in the nose. And this song is about the uncomfortable train ride, or the uncomfortable car ride to the train to drop her off. This is called Carolina Blues. Ready? 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna have to run right away. Hey, I said I'm trying to make a train. It's alright. I'm gonna have to run right away. Hey, said I'm standing with my Carolina. You know the girl kept me up all night. Hey, and when my Carolina thrown down, you know the girl knows how to fight. Hey, I don't think we're gonna make it. There's nothing more than anyone can do. Hey, I don't think we're gonna make it. There's nothing more than anyone could I said I almost got a feeling the Carolina liking it that way. I said I'm waiting on the train, man, to win a dinner band. Ain't no way, yeah, that what I say. I'm gonna try and go on back to Bay. Hey, I said I can't sleep anyway, thinking about what my Carolina said. And all my Carolina running like a freight train through my head. That's what I said. Thank you. I love how you wait till we're actually finished before you start clapping. That's really cool. Thank you for that. Well, this next song, I didn't write, but then again, who could? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say that I'm a dreamer, only one. I hope that you would join us in the world would live as one. Imagine no possession. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday that you will join us and the world would live as one. Thank you. You guys have been absolutely wonderful tonight, and we really appreciate it. Scott Guberman right here. Let's get a hand. These are obviously some of the most beautiful trees and forests ever, and using fires to control the burns it's just incredibly important, and I'm really, it does me good to see that we're addressing it and that you guys are coming here and addressing it. So I'm just grateful, and that's my spiel. I wanted you... I'll leave you with this song. I don't even know what the hell this one's about. It doesn't matter what I say, as long as I sing with inflection that makes you so mean that truth of fast reflection, but I've said nothing so far, and I could keep it up for as long as it takes, and it don't matter who you are. If I'm doing my job, it's your resolve that breaks, because the heart brings you back. I ain't telling you no lie. The heart brings you back. Oh, they can rely. There is something amiss. I am being insincere. In fact, I don't mean any of this. To my confession draws you near, to confuse the issue or refer to familiar heroes from long ago. no matter how much Peter loved her. When made the band refuse to grow, was that love that brings you back? I ain't telling you no lie. Love brings you back. Make it if you ring tin rambling, make it a spit move or else you win, and then begin to see what you're doing to me this time. To me it's not for free, it's so busy, it's killing me so desperately. I'll sing to the of love, sure, but I'm so radiated, painted fear itself, and I can't keep these feelings on the shelf. I've tried, well no in fact I lied, could be financial suicide, but I got too much pride inside to hide or slide. I'll do without this side and let it ride until I've died, and then shall I bide this tide to catch your little tunes. I'll hit 3-minute ditties, I wanna buzz to your balloons, I wanna burn all of these cities to the ground. I found out when I was around and let I play, then hey, I will go on all day without saying a prayer to pray. That's really all this was. When I'm feeling stuck in need of up, I don't rely on luck because love brings you back. I ain't telling you no lie. Love, yeah. Make it Thank you very much. I'm John Popper. We had a ball. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John. That was awesome.
That was killer, man. Fun. See you guys.
All right, 1-1. Everybody, one more time, give it up for John Popper, everybody. Scott Guberman, come on, everybody. One more time, Pacific Forest Trust, Forest Fete. Give it up for John and Scott for showing up for us here tonight. Friends, we thank you for coming. We want to ask you all to remember to check out on your way out. If you made a donation tonight, make sure you check out with our team on checkout as you leave tonight. We thank you so much for being here tonight. Get home safely. Good night, and thank you from Pacific Forest Trust.
I don't want to care, but your love's real, and it's an odd thing. I cannot be your whole world to sit on the fake grass, and I won't believe that. And I never had enough for you, but you said someone will come and replace me. How can you replace me? While it's true